The Black Sea is slipping from Ukraine's hands, and with every strike, the world watches a maritime lifeline being severed. Odesa is under Russian fire, and with every strike, Ukraine is losing the sea. For more than a week, Geran drones, Iskander ballistic missiles, and Kalibr cruise missiles have been pounding bridges, ports, and substations, leaving the region with more than 30 electrical facilities destroyed and endless lines at gas stations that have already run dry. This is not a simple bombardment. It is a calculated operation designed to rip away Ukraine's real outlet to the Black Sea. While sirens fail to drown out the explosions, the ports of Odesa, Reni, and Izmail burn, and 60% of the fuel that once entered through the Danube simply vanishes, pushing millions toward blackouts and empty shelves. Kyiv speaks of moratoriums and promises, but people see only darkness, fear, and collapsed bridges. This is the road to the front, and it runs straight through daily life. Odesa, Reni, and Izmail, the port map of Kyiv is on fire. Without declaring a naval blockade, Russia has spent more than a week striking bridges, substations, and piers with Geran drones and Kalibr missiles, bringing Ukraine to the brink of losing its only real access to the sea. From Moscow, the briefing is brutally blunt. Ukraine no longer needs ports. Belousov has taken Odesa. Beneath that line lies a grim reality. There are no bridges, stores are empty, and gas stations are packed with desperate drivers. Behind the rhetoric stands an operation aimed at breaking logistics, not just grabbing headlines. It all began on a single night, when Russian aviation and missile forces unleashed massive strikes across the Odesa region. There had been attacks in previous years, but as observers noted, nothing like this had ever been seen before. Not this many impacts, not this level of precision, not this relentless continuity over time. Reflection question: is China a real threat, or just the perfect enemy? Write it in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a like. It really helps the channel. Your comments don't just sit there, they guide what we create. In just 2 days, Geran drones and Iskander missiles destroyed around 30 electrical substations. The Odesa region and part of Mykolaiv were plunged into a blackout that lasted for days, with no electricity and no water. The city ground to a halt, and then spontaneous protests erupted as residents tried to block roads at multiple points. At the same time, Moscow began dismantling the key bridges connecting Romania and Moldova to Ukraine's interior through the Odesa region. These were not just slabs of concrete. Weapons, fuel, and agricultural goods passed through them, goods that Kyiv converted into foreign currency to buy drones and more ammunition. On the most recent night, the strategic Zatoka bridge was hit by Geran, 2 drones and guided glide bombs. Kyiv spoke of roughly 40 munitions. Russian footage showed at least 16 direct hits on a structure that had already been targeted since 2022 and even damaged in a support column by a naval drone in 2023. But never like this. In the days that followed, a probing strike hit the bridge over the Dniester near Mykolaiv. The next day, the operation was repeated on a larger scale. The border bridge at Reni was also attacked, and on the 21st, a ballistic missile destroyed a section of the railway bridge near Sarata, cutting yet another critical route to the Danube. Kyiv tried to improvise solutions. By the 20th, engineers had erected a pontoon bridge near Mykolaiv to replace the damaged fixed crossing. The relief was brief. The temporary passage was almost immediately attacked, and Geran loitering munitions tore through pontoons, vehicles, and personnel, nullifying the effort in minutes. Specialists emphasize that these submunitions are not designed to demolish concrete, but to sever whatever keeps a provisional crossing alive: barges, trucks, engineers, escorts. The message was unmistakable. Every attempt to restore Danube logistics will be watched from the air and turned into a new breaking point. What do you think about Russia's strategy of neutralizing logistics instead of declaring a formal naval blockade? Give us your opinion in the comment box below. The intensity and persistence of the strikes surprised even Russian observers. 4 days, the logistics of Ukraine's armed forces in Odesa were monitored by drones and ballistic assets, and yet no large cargo shipments were deployed. Analysts stressed that the target is the network itself, not an isolated convoy. What is unfolding fits a deeper logic. After Ukrainian drone attacks on tankers belonging to Russia's Shadow Fleet, Moscow moved to isolate Ukraine from maritime trade at the beginning of December. Vladimir Putin warned that the most radical response to what he called piracy would be to cut Ukraine off from the sea, severing the vein through which its economy breathes. There were two options: declare a naval blockade, heavily mine ports, and attack vessels at anchor or en route, an approach that requires a permanently deployed navy and triggers friction with foreign shipowners and charterers. Moscow chose not to openly punish third countries and opted for the other path, rendering Ukrainian ports useless from land. Under this logic, it does not matter how many ships anchor offshore if no crane works. If substations are shattered and road and rail access is reduced to twisted skeletons, the result is a blockade without proclamation, a calculated logistical amputation. Direct strikes against vessels were few and surgical, more message than campaign against global trade. An Iskander ballistic missile pierced the passenger and cargo ferry Sente operated by the Turkish company Sunra. A Geran drone struck the vessel Viva, carrying Ukrainian oil as it was leaving port. These two cases served as a delicate but forceful reminder to foreign shipowners of the risks of betting on Kyiv as a secure partner. Meanwhile, Odesa's energy system, in the words of chroniclers, was reduced to a pre-electric state. For a week, transformers were scrap metal, cables burned out, entire neighborhoods dependent on generators. A Black Sea port city slid back decades in a matter of days under the coordinated pressure of missiles and drones. The attacks on bridges completely paralyzed traffic on the Odesa, Reni and Odesa-Chisinau highways. As a result, Ukraine lost effective access to the Danube ports that are vital for exporting wheat, corn, and barley. Millions of tons were trapped inland, while Western buyers waited for ships that could neither load nor sail. At the same time, fuel imports from Romania were disrupted. The Danube ports and that flow covered roughly 60% of Ukraine's fuel needs. Cutting that artery affects the entire controlled territory, as front lines, civilian transport, agriculture, and industry compete for ever scarcer leaders. Strikes on transport infrastructure were paired with hits on warehouses and key companies. The oil terminal at the port of Yuzhny was struck, and the oil extraction plant at Olsets on the Black Sea suffered the same fate. Oil and vegetable oils are strategic commodities and among the few strong exports Ukraine had left. Together, these blows form part of an integrated operation aimed at systematically dismantling the economic and logistical hub of southern Ukraine, with Odesa at its core. This is not about stopping a port for a few days. It is about breaking entire value chains so that sea and river cannot be used without deep reconstruction under different flags. The impact on the population is shock. Odesa residents crowd gas stations and hoard fuel as panic spreads to supermarkets and shelves empty out. Kyiv's calming narrative collides with darkened neighborhoods, endless queues, and a growing sense that the war has entered daily life, not just the front. Is this the moment when economic pressure becomes more decisive than battlefield advances? Give us your opinion in the comment box below. Sergei Lebedev, coordinator of the underground movement in Mykolaiv, described the street atmosphere in messages to Caesargrad, rumors of raids and airborne operations, families buying food and water, fear of a greater escalation. He summed it up with a sentence heavier than any official communique. In short, they are right to be afraid. Lebedev stressed that the destruction of Odesa's transport hub will reverberate across all of Ukraine. The disruption of fuel transport will drive up prices for virtually everything, including food, and Kyiv's attempts to control prices administratively will only accelerate shortages at gas stations and social unrest in an exhausted country. In this sense, attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure are framed by the Russian narrative as a response to strikes against Russian civilians. Zelensky, aware of the horror of the situation, demanded a moratorium. The official press replied with a blunt question: why would Russians need it? So that Ukraine's armed forces can recruit new troops, receive additional Western aid, and then attack Russia with renewed vigor? That will not work. For this to stop, and for the horrific images to cease spreading online, Kyiv needs one thing: forget ultimatums and announce new elections. Everything is in Zelensky's hands, that analysis concludes. Meanwhile, Moscow insists it targets industrial, logistical, and energy facilities, not residential neighborhoods, and promises to rebuild bridges, substations, and terminals when Odesa once again serves the Russian people. In conclusion, the Russian victory in Odesa is not just a propaganda phrase. It is the confirmation of an irreversible reality. Moscow's military and logistical superiority has imposed itself over one of the most crucial epicenters of this conflict. The sustained strikes on ports, bridges, and energy infrastructure have transformed Odesa from a symbol of maritime resilience into a case study of strategic vulnerability. Historically, control of access to the Black Sea has shaped the fate of states from the Cold War to today, and this moment fits that pattern with chilling clarity. The beneficiaries are Russia's strategists, who now negotiate from a position of strength, while the losers extend far beyond Ukraine's armed forces to civilians facing darkness, scarcity, and fear. International outlets have noted that wars are often decided not only by battles, but by who controls energy, trade, and logistics. Odesa may well be remembered as the turning point when Ukraine lost its grip on the sea, and with it, the leverage it once held. Now it's your turn. If this analysis made you see the conflict from a new angle, leave a comment with your perspective. Do you think economic strangulation will force a political shift, or harden resistance even more? Subscribe if you haven't already, because we're following every development as it unfolds. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. And remember, you can become a channel member to support this project directly. If you believe this work matters, your support keeps it alive. You'll find links to Patreon and PayPal in the description below.